Welcome to another episode of the Bitter to Better podcast, Mom Moments, where I invite moms in my life to sip wine and have a good time. Today, I'd like to thank my good friend Kim Forte for joining me to talk about various things. She can be described as a human, a wife, a mother, a friend, a person who has spent much of her career practicing law and is now transitioning into mediation.
Yep.
Welcome, Kim.
Thank you for having me, Tracy.
Absolutely.
Dr. P.
So tell me, what's been
Yes.
high? What's been low?
Well, my high is we actually shared it, so I feel like we can celebrate it a little bit together. Is that we overcame our fear of like the whole parenting, like PTA fundraising, like responsibility in the school community. And we did a very, what we thought was a very small bake sale with a couple of moms. If you're any of those moms are watching this, thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
And like literally five of us, six of us, seven of us pulled it,
Yeah.
maybe is that more than seven? I don't think so.
Yeah.
Pulled it together and showed up for each other. And our kids showed up for a little, some for us or a lot for us actually. And we ended up raising a whole lot more money than we even
Wait.
had and I'm not talking about a whole lot of money, guys. I'm not talking about like we didn't raise tens of thousands of dollars, but we raised a considerable amount of money that really the school needed, and we were hopeful to get some or meet their goal, which was less than $1,000 actually,
Yeah.
and we well exceeded that, and it felt just so good to be part of something with other dedicated parents. And I know it wasn't just the moms, it was also the other parents who helped those moms get that stuff there today. So there were dads dropping off and participating in it. I don't want to like gender the people who participated. There was a grandpa there selling all day. Our friend's
Yeah.
father was there. So, it was just really a really great success as like a parenting team or a team of parents. And that felt really good. So that
Yeah.
was my high.
Yeah, definitely. To
Do
see
you
the
share
fruits
that
of our
high?
labor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely share that high. And like you said, we were blown away at how much we did end up raising, and then just to see all the progress and to see how the
Mm-hmm.
community was so generous.
They were so generous. The
And
community was so generous. We did it on election day. Tip tip, if anybody of you guys are those of you who have parent who don't go to our school, which is Marvin Elementary in East Norwalk, and you don't do an election day bake sale, do it. It's a brilliant idea. They've
100%
done it
organized.
yearly, and it really is a great success. And I was proud as a mom because my kids spent over 2.5 hours like
Yeah,
on
your
behalf
kids
of their
stand out.
classmates, like selling baked goods and raising
Mm-hmm.
money for their class. And they
Mm-hmm.
felt great about it, and I felt great. And it was like that felt really good too. I think that was for me the biggest like high in that moment.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That was awesome to see.
Lows. Ugh. Uh, where do I start? I had a moment with my kids the other day where Kyle was, that's my daughter. I'm the mom of twins, boy girl twins. Our son is Luca, our daughter is Kyle. And she was upset about something that I kind of thought she should predictably understand might happen. The dog got a
Mm.
hold of something and ripped it up, kind of thing. And it's very disturbing to her. She was very sad about it. It was a very sentimental toy. And I like at first started very like, I'm so sorry, but like it's not gone and I can fix it. And I was in the middle of cooking dinner, and dinner was literally like hot and being served, and it just derailed.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I did
yeah.
not handle it well.
Mm-hmm.
I just got louder and louder
Mm.
as she got louder and louder. And then I ran away with the dog. I was like, I'm taking the dog for a walk. Nobody helps me. I had one of those moments where it's like, nobody helps me. The house is a mess. And I've been taking this course and had been really dedicated to an education for myself in the last couple of weeks. And it's really taken a lot of my time away. And I get that. But at the same time, like, that's when you help me. That's not when you abandon me. What's the matter with you? But I will say, there was a little bit of a high at the end because my kids like really agreed to kind of process and like made me talk about it, and we all discussed it, which I don't think that we both have kids in the fifth grade. We both have 10-year-olds, and it's a whole new world with the like
Indeed.
full on conversations about emotions and like how they want to be respected and their
Mhm.
ability to kind of, I mean, I'm proud of them to tell me. It's hard though.
Yeah. Oh,
It's
yeah.
hard.
That was a great example, though, of, I have to talk about all the time, rupture and repair.
Yeah.
That's what happened, right? It was like, woo, and it's like, all right, let's talk about it. Parents have feelings too. Moms have feelings
Yeah.
too. Like,
Yeah.
and we are not these just like perfect people around managing those at every given moment. So, like, yeah, sometimes you get the very human aspects of me, and sometimes I need to come to you and, talk about that and let's figure it out and all of that. And honestly, that happens, the coming back and the sharing the very human parts of yourself and coming back and discussing it happens more and more the older they get, because
Mhm.
they're moving more and more into adulthood and socialization and all of that, right? So the older we get, ideally the more human we're getting to understand our parents to be.
Yes. But I also
So
think like what I am having to learn too is that the older they get, the more they actually have solutions for themselves too. And I have to
mm-hmm,
like embrace the
mm-hmm.
solutions that they have for themselves
Oh yeah.
and like honor them. And if that's what works for them, why can't I do it a little bit? Like, why does it have to be the way it's supposed to be? Like,
You're
I'm
right, yeah.
working on it, working on that.
That's a transition though, right? Because you're going from parenting smaller kids to older kids.
Yeah.
And the younger they are, the more hands-on you need to be with them, and the more you need to figure it out for them, the more you need to give them the answers. And now we're transitioning into, like you said, they have some of the answers, but they don't have all the answers. So like, where is that?
Right.
And we're
Exactly.
moving into, right, from dependence to interdependence,
Right.
which obviously is before independence. And so
Right.
like that is which is why the teenage year, it's one of the reasons at least that I think the
Shoot,
teenage
we could
years are
do a
so
whole
challenging.
podcast.
Yeah, we'll come back. We'll come back.
We could do a whole podcast though on our interdependence, right? Not just theirs. How
Yeah.
much we define and depend on the role of
Yeah.
doing all those jobs and then not having them anymore.
Oh yeah,
That
that's a very mom
transition,
thing.
that's a
Very
very
mom
mom thing.
thing.
How about you? Highs, lows?
Let's see. Highs. Tristan is taking swim lessons begrudgingly because he knows how to swim. And I am saying, I know you do, and I'd like you to be a stronger, more competent swimmer. It's for safety. So, like, I can't even say I drag him at this point to swim because we pretty much have a deal. I've
Mhm.
bribed him. He gets Dunkin' Donuts after his swim lessons if he goes without a big fuss
Yeah.
and I see him working hard at doing the
The
things.
Duncan
And
is
so
always the
it's been
thing.
working. So,
Duncan,
mom
thank
tip,
you.
bribe your kids.
With Duncan.
With the kid.
And also Duncan advertise
I know. So,
on Bitter to
by
Better.
the way, that actually, just to take a quick detour, this bottle of wine here, right? You're going to probably see a different bottle each
Yeah,
episode, but it's a sponsorship spot just waiting for any wine
that's
brands who
right.
might want to, you know.
And by the way, Connecticut wine brands. We're in Connecticut, folks. Like, we'll go, come to your winery, pick up some wine, and throw it right
Ooh, we'll
there
record
on
some
the
mom moments
podcast.
at your winery. Well,
Oh, 100. Ooh, mom moments.
come on, come on. Oh, wait. Oh, wait.
Oh, wait, write that down.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Okay.
We digress, but that's some good
Okay,
stuff.
swimming
So
lessons.
yes, so the high was that he went and he's working hard. He's doing what he needs to do
That's
to
great.
make progress. So those that really is a high for me. And I try to make sure I let him know that like I'm seeing the progress.
And even if he's not willing to admit it to you, he sees it. Even if he's, I know your son, and he's such a wonderful child.
He's not gonna
Really,
give
really
you the
is.
win easily. He's not
But
gonna give you
you
the win
two
easily.
have a particular relationship
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
where, like, it's going to take him moments in life to be able to come to you and say, I think that was a good idea.
Right, right.
He'll never say you're right, or like he'll never say thank you for the choice.
It wasn't a bad idea.
He'll say I think it was a good idea, but he won't admit it's your idea. He'll just say that to you.
That idea that came from somewhere. Yes.
So you're well into your 80s and
Oh,
he's well into his, at that point, 60s, right?
listen, I say, when I'm working with clients, I'm like, parenting is a thankless job for many, many, many years. Maybe for some, if their children grow up to either have kids or find themselves in caretaking roles or have people around them where they get to see the raising of kids, you might have like your child come back and be like, oh,
I have a friend of a
I
friend who
get
wrote a
it.
whole book about it, and the book is called, and I never read it, but maybe now that I have time, I should. It's called All Joy and No Fun.
Mm,
And the whole premise is that, like, of course, being a parent is like the most joyful thing in your world, but there's nothing fun
Fun
about it.
about it.
Like, it is not an in the moment enjoyable thing, even if it brings you joy.
Yes.
And there are times of enjoyment
Mm-hmm.
and like inner child moments and like all that stuff you get to share
Right.
and have. And there are times of sweetness and love and all those things, but it's not fun.
No, to describe parenting as fun, I
It's
don't
not.
know
Nope.
people
So
who
that's a
do
little plug for that book. I
that.
don't know. I haven't read it. I hope it's good.
That,
I've heard
no,
great
that sounds
things.
great though. Now I'm gonna look
Yeah.
it up.
Yeah, it's called All Joy, No Fun.
That speaks a little bit to something I have seen happening on social
Or
media a
something
little
like
bit
that.
more.
Google that and see what comes
I'll
up.
Google it and see what's there. Yeah, but this is something I've seen come up more and more on social media is one woman put it as resenting the role of motherhood and by no means regretting her children or having her children, but the actual job and the role is a challenging one that she does not love the job of. And I think people can
Well,
have they can kind of be on a spectrum of their experiences of that,
yeah.
but it does bring up this idea of like not pretending that because the job is worth it, that it means that it's all
Joy. Right,
fun
right,
and
exactly.
fabulous.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, you and I have talked about that, the whole fair play book and the game or the work of fair play, where you really do break down the domestic work that
Hmm.
occurs. And when you do that, if you haven't done that, no one's done that. I highly recommend doing that. Like, I'm not saying that my spouse and I do a good job of actually making it fair all the time, but it will be astonishing to you to sit down and actually lay
See
cards
how
in
much
front of you
is,
about how much domestic labor one partner is putting into the relationship. And I'm not gender in this moment because you could be watching this and be two people who identify as dads and raising children, right? So like the reality of just who's doing the most domestic labor and what does that mean
right.
for your relationship and your family, because that I think is the same thing, the resentment of all that goes into the mom bucket, the quote unquote mom bucket, the primary caretaker bucket, and what how much people are fine with letting that happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And don't take that moment to start like actually laying the cards out, like
Yeah.
how you know who's doing the laundry, who's doing the dishes primarily, who's doing the running of the children, who's doing that, are you getting fair time for yourself, are you getting fair time for yourself, like just the reality of like working through. And I'm not saying we've done it, you know, sometimes we don't do it all the time. But it is an eye-opening experience, and I think that goes a lot to the resentment of the role of motherhood.
Yeah. That's a really good point. Absolutely. Yeah, to the role of motherhood and all that comes with it. I guess I say right now, low for me. I don't even, ooh, do I like describing it as a low? It's a minor low, which is just like the checklist of things in my head that are like what I call the tedious tasks. So meaning some of them can be quick, some of them can be easy in theory, but there's so many of them and they're mixed in with a bunch of other stuff that I'm like, the wheels are spinning. Even though I'm a list maker, so I have things blocked in my calendar and lists and list and stuff like that. But for instance, trying to get Dorian's passport so that we can get married next year in
Mm.
Mexico. I've been to the post office like 3 times and there's been not an issue here, there, and everywhere. And so then finally mailed it all in, only for the
Government shutdown happened.
well, for the government, for the passport office to send me a letter saying here are 2 things that aren't right, like that we are not happy with. So you have 90 days to submit those.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I got to get his passport photo taken again, third time. Um, so when you're gonna do that, again, in theory, it's an easy enough task, but I'm like, okay, am I gonna do it after school on Thursday? Am I gonna do it after school on Friday? Ugh, all of that.
The items add up.
Hmm.
They add up.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm just like, there are things that I have that I think of it as like, I even have a post-it note where it's like, it will be a successful month if by the end of November these things are done. And then I just go on to December's things of like
Not
it's
to mention
December's
all
one.
the labor of like the holiday season and what goes on that gets added this time of year. So you're not even, it's not like you're doing it in like this
Mm. Hmm.
peaceful, easy March month where like kids are in school
Right,
consistently for
right.
4 weeks and you're doing
Yes.
it
I
before
know
the kids
the
don't go to
school
school.
calendar for November is why it's anxiety provoking,
You watch
actually.
do you follow Nikki Marie Inc? She just said that. She was like, so what are you doing? Like she's Boston, you know, she's like, what are you doing? What are you doing with your kids? Because I don't know. They don't have school on. They go to school Monday. They don't have to.
Tuesday.
And this is the best part. You'll appreciate this. She goes, if you have a neurodivergent household going to school one day, then not going to
Oh
school.
gosh.
It doesn't help. Doesn't help. She does this whole thing. You have to check it out and correct me. I'll
I'm
send it
going
you.
to, yes, I'm going to need that because I don't know that I follow her, but I feel like I need to.
Oh my
And
gosh.
yeah,
It was hysterical.
the the upsetting of the routine of it all. Yes, particularly in a neurodivergent household is
Look, I get it, like the school system, but I'm like, why can't we do some of this in March? Like, why are we gotta, there's no break. November, there's no school. Like, it's
right. I know.
it's like
I know.
5 months later, it's the polar opposite.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good point.
Sorry.
So,
Okay,
yeah.
that's a little bit of a low. The
That's
school schedule is a low.
So,
If you haven't gotten that message, we don't like the November school schedule.
working through it. Working through it.
Oh my God, I'm already from my glass of wine.
Yeah,
It's
hey.
not good, Tracy. It's not good.
Fill it up. Fill it up. Right.
All right.
I mean, there's all sorts of things that I know I'd meant to like mention some of the things we discussed. We thought of things like intergenerational friendship, older parenting, uh, you know, married with kids, career shifts and transitions. Because as something you mentioned just a little earlier, that you're taking a course, right?
Yeah, yeah.
For
I've been practicing law and on and off, but for the last 25, 26 years and did some other things a few times. But now am really focused on becoming a mediator and like a peacemaker. It was weird. I had like is this the right word? Transcendental moment. Is that how you say that? If I didn't, don't hold it against me.
or like transcendent. I don't know if that's
Transcendent
even a word.
moment.
Is that a word?
Yeah, transcendental moment. Transcendental moment. Is that how you say it? I don't know. Cut that out. I was, but I did. I had this moment at the end of my course where I was super emotional in the graduation part and all this stuff, and just it happened also because speaking of like marriage and relationships, on Friday the U.S. Supreme Court heard a case where the person is asking that they re-challenge gay marriage, and the court is going to decide whether or not they're willing to open the question and all that kind of stuff. And so it was like a weird day to be in a divorce relationship mediation while the court's like, do you even have a marriage?
Right.
Or should you have one? Or should states say you can't have one again and all that kind of stuff. So I was feeling a lot of emotion going into the day. And I had done some supportive work, not of the main work on that case, but certainly from the work that I was doing at the time was queer rights work when the gay marriage actually happened, and it was very personal, obviously. I'm queer identified, for those of you who are watching and haven't figured that out by the conversation. So, so it was super emotional. And I had this transcendent moment where like I've always been a litigator and I've always been this person who's been an advocate and I've always been a fighter and a fighter and a fighter. And like I felt myself surrendering. I don't know, you as a therapist, maybe people have this experience in other ways, but I sort of felt myself surrendering to this idea of peacemaking.
Yeah.
Because that is the purpose of these, like if you go through a mediation course or you go through.
Actually, do you want to talk a little bit about what mediation is? I don't think that.
So I mean, it can mean anything, but it could be used in multiple. It's often used in community-based, like issues going on with neighbors or small claims court, or But I particularly was going through a divorce relationship mediation course where, the concept of mediation is that it's all self-driven, like it's a self-driven idea. So like you can look to the divorce law and legislation and expectations of child and spousal support and all those things as guidelines, but ultimately you can decide the end of your marriage in any way you want. You can decide how your money goes to each other. You can decide how you want to tell your children together. You can decide how long you let each other live in your family home without there being litigation around. All those decisions are in your own power in mediation.
Yeah.
And so the concept of it is a very self-driven, confidential, transparent process where hopefully both parties are coming into it, leaving each other in the best possible financial and emotional experience at the end of it that they can, And most importantly, focusing completely on the child
Yeah.
as the driving force if they have children together as to why they're making these decisions, and not leaving each other like eating, as one of my trainers said, like eating a can of tuna in the rain. Like, that's, you love this person
Mhm.
at some point,
That's an image. Yeah.
like there was a time when you only wanted the best for them. Let's tap
Mm.
into, and you only want the best for your child, so your child's going to be with them.
That is such, sorry, that moment, that is such a big, like that part, right? Because it's so easy
Yeah,
for people to see, like, my ex is getting X out of this. It's like, if your ex is not okay, your child's not
not
okay.
okay. Exactly.
Like,
Exactly. That mind shift is like, it's, yes, there is like, and we can talk like, I mean, come on, we have mutual friends. We talk about revenge, love all the time, and things that you do sometimes in
yeah,
relationships. But in the reality, if you have children together and your child is going to that other person, has a home with the other
other person,
parent,
yeah.
and that you want that home to be as safe, full of the same foods, the same access, the same
Sense of
everything.
safety.
And listen, I
Yeah.
don't, this is a very like shortened conversation about, not every relationship is meant for mediation. There are people in need of having very strong advocates in their corner. But even what I learned through this course is that even people who are in, relationships where their physical self is in, doesn't isn't safe, where they've experienced, interpartner violence, and where there is a balance of power, sometimes it's empowering for them to be in charge of their own process and not to be re-traumatized through the court process.
Mm, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you have to be cross-examined and deposed, and like those are not easy things.
No.
And so, as it's really made me think. I think too, one of the like emotional moments was really realizing what kind of lawyer I was, and did I really
Mm.
put peace first,
Mm.
or did I put getting it right or winning
When,
first? And I
yeah.
don't know that I did put peace first. I probably didn't, in most cases. And I think to some degree, it's a self reflection of like, the whole point of family law is to take care of families. And
Mm.
so like it's this feeling good moment of maybe I can do some good and make people reconstruct their family and rebuild it in a different way and in a different picture, but still with love. That's what I hope
Right.
mediation is for folks.
Yeah.
Long
Yeah.
definition there.
Here's to your mediation
Thank
journey.
you. I appreciate that.
Mhm.
Appreciate the support.
Yeah. So what else is going on?
This is going on. No, I mean, I'm, you know, I feel like this time of year is always this rush from like the start of school to the first of the year.
Hmm.
And it's just a mad 50-yard dash. And, you know, I don't know how you feel, but I don't know that I do a good enough job finding time to support myself.
Mm. Hmm. Hmm. Mm. Yeah. Um, yeah, every mom everywhere.
I know, like I feel like and I know that's like a thing where everyone says that, but and I make commitments to myself and then I don't keep them.
Mm. Yeah.
And that doesn't feel good all the time. And I'm not sitting here trying to Debbie down myself on, who take that out for the Debbies. Sorry.
It's okay. I don't think we're offending any Debbies. Thanks.
Clip it.
I'm sure anyone named Debbie is used to,
Sorry.
to this phrase.
Sorry.
We're keeping it in. Debbie's, no offense.
And so I just wish like I was better at committing to myself. I mean, look, this mediation course is a big investment in myself, and so I think like to that extent I'm investing in myself, but I mean more on the lighter fashion
Yeah,
of things.
just
Like
like,
pick up a damn book and read it,
yeah,
Kim.
bringing
Like,
joy, excitement, peace.
yes.
Yes, that's how I describe self-care. So let me give my little spiel. Self-care is something that I define as anything that brings you a sense of peace, joy, or excitement. And it's unique to the individual. It's not one size fits all, except for these five basic areas of self-care that every human needs to thrive, which is sleeping, eating well, moving our bodies, supportive social connection,
Right.
and boundary setting. Those five things, all humans need that to thrive. Don't get good sleep, not a good thing.
Right.
Not feeding yourself well, not a good thing, right?
Right.
Outside of that, it's like, do you like reading? Do you like hiking? Do you like naps? We can go on and on and on. But moms are notorious for being some of the worst at being able to identify what self-care is for them
Yes.
because we're constantly
I think,
doing for
wait a minute, can I
others.
just stop you? You just said the best word, the right word to me is identifying.
Mm,
I think part of it, it's like everyone, this whole idea of like mom self-care and whatever, it's like I don't know. I always feel like, am I supposed to know what that is? What am
mm,
I supposed to know that I need to do? I don't know. And I don't know what I want to do. I don't know what
yeah,
I'm interested in. I don't who has the time to even identify it? And I think that is such a hard like leap for folks,
mm.
just identifying what I
What is
really
self-care for
do
you?
need
Yeah,
self-care for me and what does it really look like.
yeah,
And so you get so overwhelmed with the concept of just identifying it
yeah.
that then identifying and doing something about it seems so insurmountable. So it's like I'd rather just doom scroll
Right.
or like play my game.
Yeah, or
I don't doom
distract with all the
scroll. I
things
mean,
you
I'm
need to
a
do.
celebrity news read,
Mm-hmm.
so I don't doom scroll because
Okay.
I had to stop doom scrolling in 2020. Like once
Oh,
the
that'd be a good year to start. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
stopped it, stopped
It
Facebook, stopped doom scrolling. I was like, no
downhill
more
from
doom
there.
scrolling. I stopped, all the quick spin off. I'm not going to mention their names and give them cloud here. Kind of social media things. Just went to the gram and like stayed in the picture land. But I uh I think really what happens is you get to the point where it's like, yes, I do need, and everyone's like, do something for yourself, do something.
Right. You're like, what
I
is
wish
this?
you well. Like, are you taking care of yourself? And you're just like, I don't know what
Well, I will answer that
so
question.
answer it. Dr.
Should
G.
you know? The answer
Dr.
is
G.
yes. And understandably, we oftentimes do not know.
Are there
And
tools that you
yeah,
can
I mean, we
use
can do
to
a little exercise. It's
self
actually
no, I mean,
it's the most
sure, give me
no,
therapy right here. We're
it's
gonna
not
do it right here
it's
on the
not
face,
as
on the
it's the
pod.
most simple thing.
Okay.
But what it is
Yeah,
that
use me. Test
we're
me.
actually taking time and space to your point to do it because it actually this is what I literally do with clients. I'm like, okay, what is self-care for you?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, all right, let's just do a little extra. And not literally, even the build up to this is going to be so anticlimactic. Like it is literally making a
Okay,
list.
do it.
But here it is. I would
Okay.
say to you, I usually say get out a piece of paper or get something to type with. We're going to make a list of any and everything that you can think of that does or has at some point in your lifetime brought you a sense of peace, joy, or excitement. And then what I do is I'll have you just start listing certain things. And here is a key factor. I am not asking you to list only things that you actually do because there will be about 3 things on that list. I am asking you to list anything that you recognize you have done, or if you did it, it would be nice to do, right? Which means then we
So
start
something I
developing a list.
aspire to do,
It could be
or
things you
something
aspire to,
I've
things
done
you
in the
have
past,
done.
even if only once, and it brought me
Absolutely.
joy.
Yep. It
And
brought you
something
future
that I
excitement.
consistently or do
Yes.
in moderation,
Yes.
that makes me happy.
So this list ends up being can be big that ends up being bigger than we
Could be
think it will
very
be
big.
because
Could be
you're
very
listing all the things, right? And so then I have you, and so I'll have you do this in a moment. I have you kind of just whatever comes to mind. And then what I do to help clients along is I just start listing various things. I'm like, I'm going to list a bunch of things. If they apply to you, meaning these things do or would, or you believe they would bring you peace, joy, or excitement, you're going to write it on your list.
right.
By the end, we have a bigger list than anybody thinks they would have because we are including things that you don't actually currently do, which is part of the I don't know if you would say issue, which is there are a number of things I say like, oh, maybe you used to paint. You don't paint anymore. You lost that. I used to play the flute. I loved it. I don't play the flute anymore.
Right.
But that would go on my list because when I do it,
I play
if
the
I
flute
had
too,
time
that
to
doesn't count.
I didn't know if did we
I think
did,
we've talked about it.
this one
I did. I played the flute. Only through middle school. Regret not doing it in marching band. Huge regret.
I started marching. It wasn't for me. Marching band was for me. I quit
Yeah.
marching band. I love concert band. Tristan's picking up the flute now. So I actually, he's
love
using
that.
my old flute.
Oh my god.
So, yeah, that's
Mom, huh?
I said it's a mom high.
That's generation.
I like took it from under my bed. I dusted it off. I was like, let me show you how to use this. And yeah, that's the flute he takes to school. It's my
I listen, my kids are two trumpet players. I'm already talking to them about college scholarships to,
yeah,
top tier schools or
yeah,
big, big state universities where they could go and get a scholarship
yeah,
on the
being in a
marching
band.
band. There you go.
There we go. So yeah, I would put something like playing the flute, even though I don't currently do that, right?
Ugh.
Because to then take that farther when I'm actually working with clients on, okay, we really do need to institute some self-care into your life. We're going to then take this list and we're going to identify, I want you to star some that you either want to continue doing that maybe you're already doing, and
Got it.
some that you'd like, oh, I'd like to bring this back in, I would like to start doing this or do this more consistently.
Right.
And then the other piece of this is the thing about self-care is it is about making it fit for your life. So there are some self-care tasks that are daily that you could do daily. It's easy to do daily. Maybe you like taking naps and you're someone who can get a daily nap, or maybe it's doing a 10-minute meditation.
Right.
Some things are going to be more of a weekly thing. Some things are going to be monthly, maybe a massage. Other things are going to be every few months, maybe a trip. But do you see how like all of these, I mean, self-care can be taking a warm shower if that is something that feels good to you,
Right.
right? So that might be a daily self-care task,
Right.
whereas taking a trip is maybe a couple of times a year task,
Right.
right? Yeah, so then what you would do, right, is you would actually like write this down or type this up, because
Right.
what I say to people is I want you to keep, so we title it our self-care activity list,
Yeah.
and you keep it somewhere where you can easily access it. Save it on your computer, put it on your wall, whatever.
Right.
Because the idea is you're going to add to this list over time as you think of things. Because you are randomly going to think of, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I haven't done that thing in like
the
such a
dating
long
list that you
time.
gave me, which I think is great, and we actually do. Tracy had this great
Awesome.
advice, which was that Tina and I, Tina's my spouse, and we used to just do the same thing, which was like we're foodies, we would go to restaurants, and that's what we would do. But after a while, it's like, one, financially, it becomes like how much money can I spend on a different flavored steak or whatever I'm eating, chicken a ways. And I think as we get older, not to like get into much of the like I'm getting older, my body's changing. But the truth of the matter is your body does change, especially as a woman through menopause and perimenopause. And, you can't eat like you're going out at 25,
Yeah.
35, 40, and you can like go and, eat whatever you want. It's a different life. It's a different way you want to eat when you're in your 50s and
Yeah.
60s because you want to, not that we're in our 60s, but we're certainly thoughtful of those years and kind of trying to do different things. And Tracy had this great idea, which was um, just put crazy stuff on there. But whatever have you ever wanted to do on a date? And I was like, well, we're not going to do those things. And Tracy goes, it doesn't matter. And I thought that was so brilliant. And it was like, it doesn't matter if you're going to do them. Just
You need a
put it
bucket to pull
right.
from.
You need a bucket to pull from. And
Yeah.
we put candlelight concert on it, and we
Mhm.
have tickets. We're going to see Adele, and we took our kids. Even more importantly, what it led to too was a great family date. They had a
Yeah.
candlelight Halloween concert.
Mhm.
And we went to this beautiful church with all of these like non-flamed, obviously,
Yeah,
like
yeah. I love the candlelight performance.
and our kids watched a string quartet play all their favorite Halloween music. And so it was even an opportunity that made me realize that, and even as I'm saying this out loud to myself, is I should make a family date list.
Yeah. So that
Do you
so
have
to insert, we do not have an official like one. We have Tracy's notes on her phone when she gets good ideas. Many of them from you and Tina. I'm like, oh, we should do that.
which we always started the podcast. If
so
you're
I
from
need to.
Connecticut, you haven't spent the last, I just got back from Georgetown, Connecticut today, and so we have to say it was a beautiful
Hold
fall
on,
day.
did I not put in the intro that also like aspiring like
aspiring TikTok artist about like family day trips, family tripping,
she's
because
your girl.
I do feel like I've done the art of like working around the traditional kind of expectations of I
I
can
have
find little spots, little joy.
I have a note on my phone that is entitled now Kina, because it's Tina and Kim.
Keto.
Kina get your life list, which is to say it lists all the things that the two of them are like, have you done? And we're like, no. Oh, you haven't done. And then we get this amazing, just put it on TikTok or Instagram, pretty much reel of all the things to do in that place and where and how.
Haven't you done for today? I'm just going to give mine today. Haven't you done? Haven't you gone to Georgetown, Connecticut? Your answer is
No,
I
I
haven't.
haven't.
So here's my response to you. Georgetown, Connecticut is this beautiful little kind of two street downtown. I mean, it's obviously much larger than that. It's on a river. I've only lived in Connecticut 6 years, so I can't name the rivers. But you can find hiking very close by. You can find bike trails very close by. Your dog is welcome in the space, all that kind of stuff. So it's a really flexible environment.
Yeah.
And a lot of the stuff that I've given advice about, the flexibility came from coming out of the pandemic and me figuring out with two asthmatic children how to live with them and like never feel scared.
Right.
And I have like I can feel pretty scared about stuff like that.
Mhm.
So anyway, so we found Georgetown in the pandemic. Like it was like a place where they had great outdoor, and now we go all the time. I mean, we don't go as much as we used to, but there's some great restaurants there that have been there a while and some new ones that have opened recently. But like a really great place that we saw was the Georgetown Owl, which is a pub and a restaurant and a provisions place.
Oh.
We literally drove there just to get this particular spice that we like, the Daily Grind. And we didn't know where we got it, but we got it there. So we were like, let's get in the car instead of ordering it online. And we
Okay,
drove
make a
up
trip
and
out of it. Oh, I love
it.
that.
So anyway, so go see go to the Georgetown Owl, have coffee, have a sandwich, have lunch, have brunch. But don't just go there. There's also Uncorked. There's a bunch of different incredible Connecticut places that are, and we went to there's a barbecue place there, and oh my God, we ate there today. It's on the corner. It was beautiful. Outdoor fire pit. Really incredible. And but anyway, so that's what you should do. Go to
Needless
Georgetown,
to say,
Connecticut for the day.
it's
Walk
going
around
on the
with your
Kina.
kids.
Yeah, it's going on the Kina Get Your Life list. Like that's
If you
I'm gonna
walk with
put
your
it.
kids, you get them out of the car,
Yeah.
you make them walk around.
Yeah. So we're gonna just edit this footage for Kim's first reel about going
I'm
to
gonna do a reel.
Georgetown, Connecticut.
I do. I think of my San Diego reel all the time, and I'm gonna like. You have to go. I gave Tracy great advice on a day in San Diego, and she took it. She went to San Diego 6 months after we did, and took the advice and had a great day at Coronado Beach in San Diego. If you haven't gone to Coronado Beach and you're in San Diego, drive over the bridge.
We're again.
Pay the day pass at the beach cabana. What was the name of the hotel? The Coronado Beach Hotel.
I think it's the Coronado Beach Hotel.
Pay the day pass. The Golden Sands are worth it.
There is this informal standing consent that I've told Kim she has given, which is at any point where she starts going to one of her, have you done? You haven't done? I'm just gonna press record on my phone, and I've told her she's given me consent to just press record, and then I will just give her the content because she goes into this entire like description of like I'm like, yes, this is stuff you could be offering the people consistently about like day trips they can do, family trips they can do, all of that sort of stuff. So I'm gonna do it.
It's coming.
That on and on about that.
It's coming.
But yeah, so the thing I want to say about self-care, and you mentioned like family dates. So yes, I say there are these three buckets. There's self-care, couples care, and family care.
Yeah.
All buckets need to be put into in order to feel good. And we notice the impacts of any of those buckets being underfilled. Right. So when you don't have enough just things for yourself and self-care, you feel depleted and don't show up as your best self as a parent or a partner or for yourself.
Right.
When the couple relationship, meaning just you and your partner, not the kids involved, like you connecting as human beings, because parents are always connecting as parents.
Right.
Which comes with the good, the bad, and the ugly. But just connecting as two humans who are interested in one another, right? Yeah. So that's the couples bucket. And then there's the family bucket, which is you, your partner, and your children, and also maybe extended family, really your circle, your community, you might say. So maybe there's the community bucket too, really. But the idea being that you feel like you are getting the you connection, the me and my partner connection, the me and my kids connection, family connection, and the me and my community connection.
It is so hard though, because trying to input all of those buckets at all times, it's almost insurmountable to me. I don't know how you
I want to be clear. Yes, because I don't think it's realistic. This is like the idea of having a 50-50 split in life. Like equality in like the relationship is when it comes to like domestic or any task, right? Yeah, it's not a 50-50 split. It's not realistic for life, right? It's really what's equitable. So same with these buckets. You're not necessarily going to have all four of these buckets filled to the top at all times. No, because that's not life. But you want to be working at filling each of them a bit. And you might see that one's depleted and you're like, all right, we need to do a little more family stuff. Oftentimes mom's self-care bucket is very dry and empty. And so that's one that we need to.
Honesty, full transparency and disclosure. I was filling my self bucket with friends and like a lot of that, and really had to have a shock with my spouse saying like, you're not, like, you haven't tried
Mm,
to fill that R bucket in the
mm,
same way.
mm,
And so I think, yeah, I hear you, but I also think we can too sometimes forget that we did choose to do this with somebody, for those
mhm,
of us who are married. Um, and I'm always thinking like, I got to get out of this house. I got to get out of this house. And I do.
mm.
But there's also somebody else who has to get out of the house. To get out of the house.
Yeah.
And I think like, oh, and I always, I think people do this, and it's what we do to each other in our partnerships and in our marriages, is like, you're like, oh, that's your experience, and they assume you assume each other's experience
Mm,
without actually saying, how are you experiencing this?
yeah.
How often do we ask our
Yeah, yeah.
spouses that question? How are you experiencing this thing? Because this is how I'm experiencing it. And I don't feel good, or I feel great, or
Right,
whatever. And if
right.
you feel great, you're not never asking that question.
Yep.
Because
Why
chances
fix
are,
something
if you
that's not
feel great,
breaking?
if you're feeling great, they're probably not feeling so good
Right,
about
right,
something,
right.
because something's not going there. So,
So
checking in on that partner bucket, that spouse bucket, and kind of saying like, how are you experiencing what we're going through right now?
Yeah, yeah,
Um, and even as I say this out loud, like, I don't know that I've asked Tina that recently in that same way, like to
yeah,
just say like, how are you experiencing
yeah.
what we're going through, and whether it's joy. And I never ask about joy, and I realize in my own
Mm,
therapy, I have my therapist calling me out on that a little bit, where it's
mm.
like, are you asking? And I'm
Mm.
like, no, because I can see. And it's like, can you? Eh,
Ah,
you can't.
yeah, no, no,
No,
no.
you
Right.
can
We
you
can,
can't see emotion. You
we,
can't. You cannot see it.
yeah,
And
yeah,
you have to ask. And I'm working on it. That's a hard
yeah.
thing, especially for someone who is, me, very direct, very honest about my emotions. If I'm not upset, you won't hear anything. And it's kind of like, how are you doing? Well, I'm great. Like,
Right,
there's
right,
nothing
right. You
to
haven't,
hear.
yeah.
But if I am, you're going to
You're
hear
gonna hear
it.
it. Yeah.
Um, and but that also is a sense, like, I have to realize there's a freedom in that for me, where it's like, because once I release it, it's like I've released it.
Right,
I'll deal with it. We can talk about it.
right.
But, I don't know that, in Tina or in my spouse, there's a same way that you talk about emotion from their perspective and their experience. And it's
Mm-hmm.
not like that. They're not going to express it in the way that I am so directly.
Yeah,
And so I have to ask, because I have to know who they are. I
yeah,
have to know that that's who they are. They are in a relationship with me, and they need someone somewhat to say, how are you
yeah.
experiencing
To
this
give them that
experience?
space to do it. Really to make it feel psychologically safe
Yeah.
to express ourselves in the ways that we express ourselves. And you had also said something about like you were filling that self care bucket like with friends and going out and be like, I need to get out. So you go out and realizing, no, but this other person also needs some of these things.
Yeah.
But when maybe how you guys initiate that is different. And
Yeah.
therefore having to think enough to check in with that other person. I'm like, are you getting what you need here?
Yeah.
Is this working for
Like,
you?
I'm going out a lot. I
Right.
see that you're not going out. Do you
Is that
want to
because
go
that's right?
out?
Is that
Right?
the way you
Like,
like
because
it,
the
or
truth
is it
is like, maybe they don't want to experience their self-care the way you do.
absolutely
So
again
going
unique to
back
the
to self-care
individual?
is like, we're talking about it just from our perspective as moms.
Unique to the individual.
There's also someone else who should be filling their self-care bucket, and are you letting them fill that? And I think we think of it in traditional means, whereas like if you're in a heterosexual relationship or a heteronormal relationship, it's like, oh, guys are gonna go do guy things, whatever. Maybe they're not. Maybe their self-care is like, could you and the kids get the blank out of this dang
Space. Right,
house?
right.
And like, I love how I could just curse 10 minutes ago. Now I'm worried about the language.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. But like, maybe it is like, get the fuck out of the house.
Yeah.
Like, can you leave? Because
Yeah.
I would like to just be in my house in my underwear and play video games
Yeah,
for
yeah.
like 2.5 hours, 3 hours. And
Yeah.
I don't want the kids to see me in my underwear playing video games like someone who can completely relax. Or I want to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Can you leave so I can sleep?
Mm-hmm.
We don't know. Like, there are different things. Like, I really wanted a nap today or yesterday, and my family didn't leave, but it was fine that they didn't. But then in hindsight, it's kind of like, maybe could I have said, I'm going into the guest room, I'm turning off the light,
This is, yeah, this,
and I'm taking a nap.
I have a very deliberate hour of quiet time in the morning that I've blocked out for
Mhm.
myself. This started before
I
Josh and
like
I.
that.
This started before Josh and I met and before we moved in together. And before, so when I was single momming
So
it
you
with my
did
two
this
kids,
just as a mom for
I
you.
did it as because I started realizing when I woke up just moments before I woke the kids up, I was a worse off person that day,
Yeah.
which was I woke up to kind of like stress
Yeah.
and didn't get that space. And as especially as a single mom, when I really thought about my day, I realized I got no moments to myself because it was
Yes.
either getting the kids together and getting
I'm
to school.
like,
Then I'm
yeah,
like, all right, they're
I'm
at
the same.
school. Now I'm working. I'm like, okay. And when I'm not working, I need to go run errands, and then I need to pick up the kids, and then
Yep.
right. And so then I said, and again, you have to tailor this to what works for you. I am a morning person, so it is reasonable for me. What I started doing, this is what I decided to do. I was like, I wake my kids up at 6:45 a.m. I need an hour, and I don't get that. So here's the thing: I get that once they're in bed, but me not being a night owl,
But you
I'm
don't get it.
exhausted,
Right.
and I just
Exactly.
fall asleep. I couldn't read, I couldn't watch TV,
Exactly.
right? So I was like, your quiet time is going to happen in the morning. So I became intentional. Now I've been doing this for a few years now. 5:45 a.m. I have an alarm that goes off every morning except the weekends. No, that's not true. It might go off on the weekends, whatever. That goes off at 5:45 a.m. I wake up and I have my coffee. Back when I lived in my old place, I lived on a pond. I'd look out the window at the
Yeah.
swans on the pond. I did all this before my kids woke up, to the extent I became so serious about this quiet time because of how it transformed my day
Hmm.
that my older son, who is more like me, is more of a morning person, sometimes he would wake up before 6:45 in the morning on occasion. And I had a conversation with him. So he was young, but we started having this conversation. So now he fully understands mommy's quiet time. I was like, hey, mommy needs a certain amount of time
Right.
for herself. If you wake up before 6:45 in the morning, obviously if it's an emergency or something you immediately need, I'm here for you. But if it's not that, I start breakfast after 6:45. I start getting you ready for school after 6:45. Mommy just needs time to herself. Because, as kids do, he's up with all the demand. Can I have breakfast? Blah, 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 blah,
Yeah.
all of that, right? And I know like I've done a lot of work to like overcome like mom guilt and urges around like just because I'm not making breakfast for my child at 6 a.m. doesn't mean he's going to starve, right? Like
Right.
6:45 is the time I usually get them up to start making breakfast. I am going to feed my child
Right.
before he goes to school. Just because he wakes up and at that moment it's like, I'm hungry,
Right. Well,
I
and
know
this,
he's not going to starve.
yeah, and you have kids at two different ages where you have one who's still expecting that and one who's of the age that's like, if you're that darn hungry, you can find something you need to eat. Like, I don't,
Right. But I started this
yeah,
before he was
yeah,
like that age, right? But we have these conversations where it became like a sacred time for me.
yeah,
But the wonders, like when I tell you the difference between my functioning of having that quiet time versus not, I realized the importance of it. So I protected it, which means now, fast forward to me moving in with my now husband and our four kids. So a
yeah.
full house. I that was a conversation we had beforehand. I was like, in the
And
morning,
that's good.
I need time to not talk. He will like wake up, like if I wake up and happens to wake him up, he is capable of just starting to talk to me about whatever. Like, oh, da, da. And I started realizing the frustration that welled up in me when he would do that. And I was like, I need to let you know that I literally wake up early
Yeah,
intentionally so that no one else is awake.
yeah.
And I like to have my coffee, and before I have my caffeine in me, it's not good. I don't want to talk. He's like, I understand that. So he literally says to me now, he's like, I'm gonna let you have your quiet time. I'm like, thank you, dear. And
Yep,
I
thank
leave the
you.
room and I go downstairs.
I need to do more of this because I think for me is like there, I inherently, um, I have both worked out of the home, in the home, had different types of schedules through the last 6 years that we've been in Connecticut. Always worked out of the home when we lived in New York City and we're raising kids there. But um, there are days where like Tina and I will be in the house like multiple days together, and I'm like, and then the kids come and it's the two of us and the kids, and I'm like, and now fortunately we just, we a new dog joined our life and our family, and so I get some walking time, but even that is a responsibility.
Right.
I get so rarely time that I have no responsibility.
Right. Yep.
Like I'm not
Yep.
looking after a human or worried about their existence or well-being. Well, I'm always worried about our children's well-being, but you know what I
Yes,
mean,
but
where
having
you're
to
not have to
tend to
be
them.
conscious of
Yeah.
that or being having an ear out. Do you need something? Do you want something? Is there something break? You know, what are we
Right.
gonna do? Or the dog needs a walk, or the
Yep.
dog needs
Yep.
da 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 or someone needs attention and you're right. I mean, preserving a time for yourself and figuring that out and knowing that like it's only yours and no one can touch it.
Yeah.
It um I have to get back to this. I'm going to put it on my list that you did about my self-care list. I'm going to put this out. Is that like I used to sit and I'm going to start doing this again when everybody went to bed and just listen to music, my music from college, my music from law school, my music from when Tina and I met, like all the music that like filled my life for so many years that I don't really get the chance to listen to because I'm so busy doing other things that like um I don't take the time to like remember that feeling and that connection. And so
Yep.
I'm
Yep.
gonna do late night music. I'm going
I
back to it. You just inspired me. Thank you.
I'm a big fan of I pop in my that's one of the things I do during my quiet time or during my cooking time or some period of time where I'm letting like the kids and the family know, hey, I'm in the zone a little bit here. Obviously, you need me. It's like tap me. But that's so now, and this is actually a fairly new thing. I'm starting to say to them now, I'm like, take my headphone out because people just start coming into the room, blah, 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 blah. Can't hear you. If you want me to hear you,
Right.
come take it out.
Yeah.
Or if you're just talking, cool. But I want you to know I'm not
Right.
intentionally ignoring you. I don't hear you.
I work very deliberately, and this is part of mediation, by the way. Don't mean to be like the big mediator plug, but I'm kind of becoming
It's your
a
thing.
peacemaker.
It's your jam.
It's my jam right now. So one of the tenements is like naming it, like naming you're seeing in the space, even if it's negative, and like it
Mhm.
might cause awkwardness or uncomfortable experiences, but the truth is it's still existing. And if you don't point it out, I'm sure you do this in therapy
Yeah,
all
you
the
can't really
time.
do much about it.
Can't do much about it if you don't want to admit that it's happening.
Mhm.
So like I literally number of times and it both angers me and yet I'm hoping it sinks in. Sometimes it does.
Mhm.
But the number of times I'm like, do you see? I want you to observe what it is that you are witnessing. Because here's what you realize is your kids aren't actually looking at you at all. So
They
you
have an
actually have to
expectation that you
stop them.
respond.
I think like part of this is like parenting guilt here. Sorry, I know. Don't do it to yourself, but I'm gonna do it.
The no guilt
The no
zone
guilt
mom
zone.
moments.
Here's the reality. They are raised on machines that give them instant gratification, instant whatever. The images are running all the time. And that imprints into their brain. And they have images that run in their brain in ways we never will because we've never been in that digital
Immersed in that
experience
way.
in the same way.
Yeah.
And you probably have more digital images in your brain than I do in mine because I am more removed from that experience, right? But the reality is half the time you have to say, can you just like read the room? Like
Okay.
read what is happening. Do you see your parent focused on a task that half the time I'm like, there's open fire. Like I'm cooking.
This
I'm like,
thing's happening.
experience a burn. And you're like, Mom, look over here. No, no,
Oh,
look
this happens a
over
lot
here.
with the driving. I'm like, cannot
All
turn my
the
head
time.
around or we crash into something.
Say it all the time. I'm like, so I literally cannot look because
I could.
I need to look at the road because I'm driving a car. So if you need the response, describe it. I'm like, could you describe what it is that you want me to see? So if it's, and they're like, oh, never mind. I'm like, okay, we are going to learn some social etiquette.
Prioritization, like what's
First, the observation occurs. If the statement is not congruent to the observation of the person whose attention you are trying to get, then you don't make the statement. Then you don't make the statement. So many times. You see what I'm doing? Is this, and it's the most least urgent So much so that now when they
Oh yes, I know
urgent
we
things,
talked about this.
like,
I
like the
know.
dog is hanging from his leg on the rafters, and I'm like, oh shit. And the kids are like, yeah, I've been trying to tell you for 20 minutes.
But this is how you
I'm like,
you
yeah, but you
respond.
also tried to tell me for 20 minutes that some thing on
YouTubers
YouTube.
shouting about
Yes.
some blah blah blah. Yes.
Or you
Yes.
drew a thing in your class. I drew a thing. Okay.
Look at this now.
I can't. I'm cooking 3 pieces of your meal to get on your thing because the nutritionist says it should be 3 things. It has to be 3 things every night. I have to answer the nutrition.
Oh goodness. I mean, yeah, it could be a whole other thing. The nervous system of a mom. That's a scary place. That's an episode.
Like half the time I'm like, can you observe? Because I also want to say to them, how do you read social life or the world going forward if you can't see that your mother is doing something and yet you think you can just go on? Do you think your teacher is gonna let you in junior high, high school be like, I know that you're trying to teach me these, equations or
Right.
whatever, but
I
my
just-
shit.
I just want it.
It's like, no. And see, here's the crap though. They don't do that crap to their teachers.
No, and then I mean that in of itself is a whole other thing. Yeah, I mean, and we talk about this like in therapy all the time. Like, yeah, the responses and behaviors you get, right? You're doing a good job if your children feel very safe with you, meaning safe to give you all of their stuff, the good, the bad, the ugly, their worst self, their best self, right? Because that's part of what that is.
Right.
Is with our parents, when we feel well nurtured and cared for and safe,
Yes.
we can melt down, we can be our brattiest self, we can be our iggiest self. We're like, we do try to walk into the room with a little more decorum in these, like,
Right.
in school or I mean the age old thing with parents, right? It's like you drop their child off at someone's house, and they're like, oh my gosh, they were a doll. And you're like,
I mean, we say this to each other all the time.
like, did wait, was it this kid?
Oh, I mean, your kids are great. I mean, I just had.
But we don't have terrible kids or anything like that. And yet we get attitude from our kids, and
no
we get
kids are terrible.
oh yes. And disclaimer. Come on, if you
We
listen
don't
to this point,
children. There is a
Right.
difference, and I think like we can talk about that if we want, but we
Right.
don't need to. But we don't experience entitled children,
correct. And yet
and that's a difference.
and yet you get, because humans who live in close proximity and who are close, you get the attitude of your kids, you get the this and you get the that like we don't tend like that our kids don't tend to give the other person. Does this make
Right.
sense? Right.
Yes.
So like when they're like, they were a dream, and they were like, you're like,
Yeah.
oh, well, that's nice.
That's nice.
Like, oh, you ate that thing here that you bite me about eating it. Okay.
Yeah, that's the
That
other
type
thing.
of stuff.
Don't you love that? It's like, oh, I ate a whole, and you're like,
The stuff that Tristan comes from his friend's house talking about he tried. If I ever tried to feed that to you in our home,
I love that about your kid.
I'm like, well,
Your kid
maybe
didn't even eat it. And I was like, Tracy, he ate all this stuff, and you're like,
maybe to get him well and fully
don't
nourished,
me.
I
Don't
take a day at
me.
everyone's house. I'm like, if you can get Monday so that he'll eat peas, and if you can get Wednesday so he'll
Yeah.
eat some chicken, I might have a full, like, a well-balanced meal in him. Because
Yeah.
otherwise, at my house, I don't like that.
I don't like
I don't. I used to like that. I don't like it anymore.
what? Okay.
If by used to you mean last week, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
That phenomenon, that like, I'm gonna eat it. This is what I want to eat, and then all of a sudden they hate it. What?
Yeah, there's definitely some like
it's
developmental
always when
stuff
you
to
buy
that.
like a case of something.
Yeah, I went to Costco and I got you your favorite thing that you've been asking for. When we didn't have enough of it, I was horrible.
Over it, and you're like, what? I don't want to eat this shit. I don't like this. I don't Okay, so recently it was cereal. Our kids were like, yeah, we'll go back to cereal in the morning. So we have to make our own breakfast because they thought like easy does it, right? So they started making themselves cereal, and they're like, we don't like cereal. I was like, well, you gotta learn how to cook some eggs because
now we're in the chapter of scrambling some eggs because I know. Yeah, no. So one that we've been having. So we have like what we call our 2 older boys and our 2 younger boys, right? And with the older boys, like there's definitely like this transition that's happening where they're like, oh, can I have some more chicken nuggets? Or can I have this thing? And we're like, yeah, sure. Pop in the microwave. Or you got to go downstairs to the other freezer to bring them up. Oh, how hungry are you, Dad?
Exactly. How much
Because life is
So-
feeling different when you are on the hook for doing
So
it.
listen, we made a recent in the last like 6 to 8 months a massive transition in the way like we've thought about eating in our house. We've been very conscious of the snacks in the house and like I'm not saying we're perfect, but we're certainly trying to pull back on those mainstream high caloric, high whatever, bad habit kind of snackies. And you know, in that process, it's having the kids take responsibility too. It's not just us. And I think, you know, part of Tina and I worked through our frustration or like shared our frustration. It's like, well, now we have to change everything. We have to figure it out. What do they want to eat and whatever. And I'm like, no, no, no. This is their life. Like, if we're going to teach them
Yeah.
how to eat well for their bodies, they
Yeah.
have to start making choices. And I'm not saying we're revolutionary. I'm not preaching or doing any like preaching podcasts here. Please don't take that this way. But I do think since this transition, our kids have certainly thought more about putting like a better balance in their diet, right? So like, you know, they'll tell you like there's the 5 groups you can choose from and you're supposed to have 3. Like if kids have 3 every meal, that's a balanced meal. If they add the other 2, that's fantastic. But if they can get 3 in, great. And so now my kids, instead of just eating a bagel with butter and like a glass of water, they'll have a piece of fruit, a half a bagel, and a glass of milk.
Right.
So they get like dairy, half a bagel, and they get a little fruit in them. And you know, I wasn't offering them that in the mornings either. Like I'm not,
Right.
don't get me wrong, I wasn't doing it. I wasn't saying like, oh, you need to have a whole balanced meal every
Right.
morning. I was giving them whatever they wanted, but I wasn't also teaching them what they should be eating.
Right. Yeah.
And my mother did not teach me that.
Yeah.
You know, she didn't teach me what I should be eating. I ate what she told me to eat.
Yeah. A big part of parenting, because I'm firmly in this too, is like it's habit building.
Yeah.
So one thing I always say, right, when I'm working with clients, I'm like, people have their different ideas on how to parent. But if an assumption that I like to make is that if you are a caring parent who's involved and wants the best for your kids, then what we can all agree on is that you are trying to, hopefully, wanting to positively influence your kids to raise them to be well functioning, ideally like content human beings who are, you know, a positive part of their world, if that makes sense. To put it in the most, I'm trying to make the most big, vague
environment where they feel good for themselves. And to say that, like, I want to say just a little caveat is that, like, this choice was not driven by us. It was driven by our children.
Right. Yeah.
It was driven by our children saying, like, I'm not eating well. I'm eating the things that people say I shouldn't eat. Part of that was like school influence. We've had this conversation. They had very demonstrative teachers who talked about bad snacking and what that, some in a very.
Just bringing up some food shame and
Like
some
saying,
body
like,
shaming and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I do believe there was a knock by a child.
Oh.
One moment, mom moments.
We're having a mom moment. Was it Dory? Was it the dog?
It was both Tristan and Dory the dog, and Tristan was asking if he could have a snack. That's what the knock was about. So,
you know, in that moment, you want to say, like, of course, you can have a snack. And then at the same time, you're like, oh,
so sweet.
Nice.
I literally
I
and
get
that
it the same way. Can I have fruit? Of course, you're gonna have fruit. Why are you asking me some dumb question? And then at the same time, it's like, well, I don't get it. Like,
me and Josh talk about this all the time. He's like, can I have some water? I'm like, wait, do we like lock our children in the basement and deprive them of basic needs? Like, why? Yeah. You can always, it's on the bridge. You can always have
I
water,
say the same
children.
thing. Like, can I have a glass of milk? Of
Of
course.
these ups the bowl.
Of course, you can have a glass of milk. By the way, the pediatrician says I don't give you enough milk. Please, by all means, have 6. I don't care.
Like it's not a Kit Kat bar. Yeah, you can have water. Just always go take the water, please, children. And please, like, yes, don't get into a group of people and be like, Mom, can I have some?
I know that is the big fear, right? It was like, oh my god.
Yes.
They're like that. Their children need to ask for water.
May I go to the bathroom?
I went to Tracy and Josh's house, and let me tell you, they make their children
ask for water.
ask for water.
And to use the restroom.
To use the bath. That's
Mhm.
not true. They were just at my house. They don't understand. They're very.
Gosh. But yeah,
They do ask politely for things at other people's house though. So like I don't
is
want to
good.
discredit that.
This is good. But yes, but the refrigerator.
I know, you know what Lucas said today? He ate like a bunch of cantaloupe, which was
Mhm.
great.
Yeah.
Like I was making it for breakfast. And he goes, I think I have a cantaloupe problem. And we were like, I don't think you can have
You
a
don't get to
problem.
have a cantaloupe problem. No,
Like, too
not a
much
thing.
is an issue.
Nope.
Like, no
You're
doctor's gonna
taking
be
off the
like,
problem
oh,
list.
you really got a cantaloupe problem, kid. Like, I really
The
need you to like
cantaloupe.
lay low on the cantaloupe and the watermelon and the grapes and the oranges and the apple. Like, no, too much fruit in your life. Gonna like
I
knock
gotta
that
talk
out of
about
you.
the fruit in your life. Yeah, yeah.
But it's so funny. You say to your kid, like, you can have as much fruit as you want. You don't have to ask. Can I have an apple? Sure.
Yes.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you
you can.
for asking. You can have an apple. But yeah. So I mean,
Mhm.
it's a wild ride.
It's all a wild ride. You know, I feel like the good thing though is if like you're working hard to try to meet them where they need to be met,
Mm-hmm.
they see you
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
You know, I started saying like one of my lows was like this fight or this situation with the kids. I had come off of like 2 weeks with Tina traveling and me solo parenting for days on end and going through this training program and like really not having any time, like leaving minute to minute to minute, having asking other people to come in and walk the dog and take care of my kids and like just doing so much to like get through these days of this. And you know, they were like, we get it. We see you.
Mm-hmm.
That's a remarkable feeling.
Yeah. Yeah. Being seen by your children in your humanity and not just your momness or your parentness is that's big. That's big. And
That's big.
yeah, as they're getting older, that generally happens, or you very much hope that it's happening more and more. And yeah, I get some more of the like, thank you for that, and the like, I'm gonna help you with that here and there. Like sometimes the unexpected moments where I'm like,
Yes.
appreciate that. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh,
You're like,
maybe
oh
this
my
is
goodness.
maybe this is
Like, wait a
working.
minute. You saw me extend it, or
Mm-hmm.
not even just the thank you, like, which is great. I mean, I love when they say thank you.
Yeah, but like the pitching in for something. There's
The
something
pitching
for me.
for
There's a
something,
thing that recently
right?
happened for me that I cannot think of what it exactly is with Tristan. And I was like, I appreciate that you.
Yeah, you thought I
Yeah.
needed your help and you like
Yes.
you did it.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a great
Yeah.
moment when they like step up and do that and you're like, oh, thank you. I mean, I'm hoping that's consistent.
Mm-hmm.
I'm scared though, I'm not gonna lie. You know, you and I are facing like a big transition this year. Like it's we're in the joy phase right now, but
Right.
you know, elementary is coming to an end. Like they're facing another trajectory of life where we have less control, less input,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
less
Yeah.
experience into the process.
Yeah. 100%.
And you know, I'm feeling like
New social groups are going to be formed too. Everybody who they know from fifth grade is not going to all the same middle schools.
no,
It's not going to happen, right?
not for
They're going to be
us.
forming new. Um.
A whole new group of people.
Yeah.
And also on the top of that, like my kids are in the phrase, I don't know where Tristan is, but like, so we let them watch Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like the whole like when people watch things, it's always so complicated. No judgment, don't judge me, not judging you. So we started watching Wednesday as a family, and you know, the parents kiss. There's no sexual activity in the show. It's a TV 14 show. So there's not like a lot, but there's making out and like sexual innuendo kind of stuff. And my kids are still hiding their faith. They still don't want to see kissing. They're not interested. And of course their parents are with them, so it's kind of gross. I still remember that. I think even till before my mother died, I don't think I wanted to watch
I
a
mean,
film.
I don't have many. I can't put many memories of like actively watching it, like my kids where they're sitting next to me. Yeah, we're running into new territory.
Yeah, it's new territory, right? Like you're raising the bar on like what's in the show, what they're seeing. And it's, you know, like, but even with us, like we kiss and they're like, whatever. So I don't know how much of that is pretend or how much of it is real,
Mm-hmm.
but also the reality of like we're parenting young people who are beginning to realize that they are going to partner with someone one day, and even if it's not forever, even if it's temporary, even if it's a
Mm-hmm.
relationship, even if it's a whatever, it will
Mm-hmm.
be a level of intimacy that exists. And I think our children are just learning intimacy, that it like is a thing between two people. And it's weird.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And even though they see it as us as parents, even though they see it in you and Josh as like a couple, they see it
Mm-hmm.
in me and Tina as a couple, I just sort of feel like, wow,
Yeah. Yeah.
wow, I'm not ready. Not ready.
No.
Anybody got any advice? DM me, whatever.
No, I don't know that anybody ever is ready. I mean, I just think the most direct
So if
way
you were to
was
ask me at the beginning of the show, you're like high, lows, whatever. Like, what are you scared of? I'm scared of
mm,
like prepubescent adolescence and adolescence emotions when it comes to forming your beginnings of your,
right.
you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think of the most direct way in which you've had to address this, and this came up, okay, this came up yesterday because I was at the Bronx Zoo yesterday,
Uh-huh.
and if you recall, I'm not if you recall, as you know, we had
Oh,
a fourth.
tell the story. No, this is the podcast story. Okay, my show
By the
notes.
way,
Okay, I
the
don't love
more
the
we
way
get
that
into
looks.
this bottle, the slightly more unhinged this
Yeah.
conversation
Hey, are you on
becomes.
time check with your
Yeah, I have the
plans?
yes,
Okay.
I'm good.
Okay,
I'm
so
solid now.
this is a story for the podcast, and even if that little bit shows in where like I didn't like my show showing and whatever.
This is mom moments. This is just
Mom moments.
as we're talking, I'm
This is such a story. I was half involved, half not. But it's such a great story. And so I'm gonna let the person who is mostly involved.
I apologize. I apologize to any school staff members who feel that they
Oh,
were
this
like
is
harmed in the making of this
such a great-
situation.
I'm gonna shut up. Wait a minute, I need some more wine. Hold on. Hold on, you need the wine.
Surprise! You have to stay tuned for part two because me and Kim got to talking and we talked for over 2 hours. So I needed to split the episode into two parts. So the second part will air this week, Wednesday, and you can hear all about the fourth grade scandal of 2025. Also, don't forget to follow me on YouTube by subscribing to Coach Tracy on YouTube and follow this podcast on whatever platform you choose to listen. Also, just know that you can go in the show notes and you can sign up for my email list. Think that's it. See you on Wednesday.